So I have to confess something to you. When you get asked to speak for TEDxAlkmaar, the organization tells you to make one thing very, very clear, which is that it's your one job to make clear to the audience why they should listen to you and why now. Now, that really struck me, because I have no idea why you should be listening to me and why now. I really don't know the answer to that question, and that gets your thoughts running. I'm a failure. The bullies in elementary school, the teachers in high school that got me suspended, they were right. I am really, really a failure, maybe. It actually struck me so hard that it kept me up at night, and like many of us might be able to recognize, the fear of failure and that thought pattern, that thought process that gets running when you think you're going to fail actually keeps you from doing anything at all. It freezes you. I'm not immune to that, and it froze me to the extent that I was too late to hand in my slides for this presentation on time, which means that I have nothing but black slides for you today. Now, if we put aside that failure for a second, the fact that I failed that job, fortunately, I also have another job. I'm a cognitive neuroscientist. That means that I study the human mind and brain. And specifically, I study what we can do, which methods there are, to enhance human performance. So I want to find methods, safe and healthy if possible, to help you in memorizing things better, in focusing on your work better. And again, I try to focus on healthy and safe methods therein. So many of you might know the movie Lucy, for example. In a way, I'm trying to look for that pill or that drug that might enhance our performance. If we think about what we can do to enhance our performance, you might also ask the question, why would you do that at all? The reason I do that, the reason I want to scientifically help people in obtaining what I call the human potential to get the best out of themselves, is because I think that many of us recognize that we are all struggling with this ever-changing and very demanding environment that we're living in. Not even talking about all the things that we basically demand from ourselves every time. So again, in a way, I am scientifically studying which methods there may be to enhance our performance, to get the very, very best out of ourselves, to reach the human potential, as I call it. Now, to give you an idea of how that goes, I'm going to make you part of my experiment. So I want you to imagine that you are a participant in my study. The first thing I do is I put down a chair and I make you sit right across me. I start putting aside your hair, and I put basically sponges on your head. The next thing I do is I attach those sponges to electrical wires, and I attach the wires to a very big battery. I turn it on, and what you feel is a slightly burning, tingling sensation. This means basically I'm trying to get your brain firing a little bit faster. Now, that's pretty uncomfortable also because you have very tight rubber bands around your head. But the next thing I do is I put you in front of a computer screen, and I present to you a traffic light. So just imagine a traffic light, but instead of 3, there are now 4 lights. And your job, while the rubber bands with the sponges and all the wires are around your head, is to indicate whether the light that is going to light up is above or below the middle. Pretty simple, right? I think everyone can do that. Just do it as fast as you can. Except, in some of the cases, there will be a red line appearing. And that red line indicates that even though your finger is basically already pressing the button to indicate if it's above or below the middle, you should not press any button. That's really, really difficult. To make it even a little bit more difficult, after a red line, you're going to hear a tone, high, medium, or low in pitch, and then with your left hand, you have to indicate whether the light that's lit up is above or below the line that belongs to the tone that you heard. I think I lost many of you there. That was kind of the point. Because you, as my participant, I'm going to push you to do things that you usually are not capable of doing. And all of that to investigate whether those sponges that are on your head, that are trying to make those brain areas fire, whether that can actually enhance your performance. Now, different experiment. I asked you to come to my laboratory at 8:30 in the morning. 12 hours before that, you're not allowed to eat anything. And the first thing I ask you to do on an empty stomach is to drink half a liter of orange juice within 5 minutes. Then we wait an hour, and we sit down together on a chair again, and I tell you, okay, I'm going to present you, or basically talk to you, a string of digits. And what you need to do is just repeat after me when I'm done talking about the string of digits. Let's go something like this. Just repeat after me when I finish the string. 3, 8, 9, 2, 1, 6, 8, 9, 1, 3, 5. Well, I thought so. Yeah. Again, I am trying to push you into doing things you're basically incapable of doing. This time to see whether this food supplement that I secretly put in your drink is going to enhance your performance. Okay. Different experiment, this time maybe not with you, but I've actually gone so far to investigate whether cocaine makes people more creative. And yes, that means I actually gave people cocaine and asked them to come up with as many different uses of a brick as possible. I love my job. So the thing is that these methods, the food supplements, the brain stimulation, the drugs, they can indeed enhance your performance. They do have potential. But it will not make you more successful. It will not help you reach that human potential. There are two things that I learned from my studies that I think you all should know. The first thing is this. No matter how long or intense I stimulate your brain, how many drugs I give you, or how many food supplements we test, you can only improve if you fail first. If you were already 95% accurate at remembering those strings of digits, I cannot help you improving even more. Basically, my experiments are telling us that in order for people to improve, they really, really need to do bad first. So we need to push them into doing bad so that we can find the methods to enhance that. The second thing is that basically I'm failing at this job too. Because, you know, I'm making people more efficient. So yes, I can help your brain, stimulate it to make it work faster and make less mistakes. I'm helping it in becoming more efficient. Because efficiency is all about timing, making as little mistakes as possible in as short as time as possible. We all hate taking the wrong turn at the roundabout because we lose time and it makes us feel like a failure. But the thing is that doing well in real life, feeling good, feeling successful, reaching your human potential, it has nothing to do with efficiency. It has nothing to do with making little mistakes, as little mistakes as possible. Now think back about that roundabout. I think we've all experienced it, that you take the wrong turn and you feel like, I'm such a failure, why couldn't I just take the right turn? That felt like failure. But imagine the opposite. If you would have taken the right turn right away, you would not have considered yourself a very successful person, right? Point being, failure is not the opposite of success, or success is not the opposite of failure. Actually, we need that failure in order to get successful. Now, of course, I can try to convince you of this, but I can also show you that there are many great minds in history that have actually tried telling us so. So I lied a little bit to you in the beginning because I did bring some slides to prove that I'm not lying and I'm not making this up. Do me a favor, when you get home tonight or tomorrow, Google some of these names. What you will find is that these people, in their early times, were actually considered great, great failures. And we would say that they became successful despite of their failures. I would say, and so would they also argue, that they did not become successful despite their failures, but they became successful because of their failures. And here I am today trying to tell you that our very own brains are telling us the exact same thing. If we want to become successful, if we want to do good, if we want to reach our human potential, to do the best we can do as humans, we need to allow ourselves to fail a little bit more, even if only because your brain is asking for it. In fact, we should not only allow ourselves to fail more, we should force ourselves to fail a little bit more. It's actually fun, I can tell you. Now, our very own brains, again, are trying to tell us this very thing, that we should basically try to fail more, which I think means that we should embrace failure a little bit more. You know, acknowledge and basically be thankful for the things that make you struggle. maybe since now I have your attention, I'm standing here anyway, I should put out a huge thank you for everyone that makes me struggle, that makes my life hard. Please keep doing the exact same thing that I dislike you for, because you in the end do make me more successful. You may wonder what happened to those questions. The question, why should people listen to me, and why should they listen to me now? Again, that really, really struck me. I was so afraid of failing, so afraid of not knowing the answers to those questions, that again, I could only come up with these slides here. But in the end, I might not have failed that question as much, the answer to that question, as much as I think I did. Maybe you can tell me. Thank you.